Welcome to Warhammer Warscroll Review. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Beastclaw Raiders unit, the Frostlord on Stonehorn.
Warscroll Review.
The Frostlord on Stonehorn is one of the most powerful unnamed characters in AOS. If a player takes Beastclaw Raiders, they will often have this model in their army, so let's review its uses. The model starts at a sizable 12-inch movement that falls all the way down to 4 inches just before death. Clearly, the Stonehorn is fairly fast, but it also has an ability that allows it to run and charge, making it even faster. The other portion of this ability, called Earth-Shattering Charge, is that it must always charge if it has the opportunity. Normally, abilities that force a player to do something are restricting, but the Stonehorn should be in combat as much as possible, so this one won't be that bad. In any case, it can also be mitigated in the movement phase by staying outside of 12 inches of enemy models. In addition to this, the special ability will have the Stonehorn dealing D6 mortal wounds on the charge. Since the Stonehorn is often going to be the one charging, this is extremely potent. The Frostlord on Stonehorn has 13 wounds and a 3-up save. Pretty solid for a monster, but the Stonehorn's Stone Skeleton special rule makes this beast even more survivable. The rule halves the damage characteristic of weapons that wound it. In addition, it halves mortal wounds dealt to the model. This awesome ability effectively doubles the monster's wounds. Not only does the Frostlord and Stonehorn excel in defense, the model's offensive ability is quite impressive. The model has 4 weapons in total, but one of them will be fairly ineffective. The Frostlord's Frost Spear is not that one. 4 attacks with a 2-inch reach, 3s to hit and wound, Ren 1 and damage 3. Having the constant 3 damage is awesome. Next up are the Stonehorn's Crushing Hooves. This weapon offers D6 attacks with Ren 1 and damage D3. Again, pretty powerful. The most powerful weapon at the model's disposal, however, are the Stonehorn's Horns. Starting at 6 attacks and diminishing by 1 for each tier on the damage table. This weapon has Ren 2 and damage 3. The slight trade-off is that it hits on 4s instead of 3s like its other weapons. This weapon is brutal and will cut down most targets. Okay, the Frostlord on Stonehorn is fast, durable, and powerful. But can it support an army? Yes. The Frostlord comes with its normal command ability, Bellowing Voice. The ability would allow all Beastclaw Raiders within 14 inches to reroll charge rolls. Getting the charge is fairly important to Beastclaw Raiders, so this ability is obviously a welcome addition. With this ability, the Stonehorn will realistically move around 23 inches or so in a turn that it runs and charges. While the monster is incredible, the Stonehorn is not quite as plug and play as its Thunder Tusk cousin. The player won't want to get bogged down with cheap units, as the Frostlord on Stonehorn is quite expensive at 460 points. Not only is it expensive, its Stone Skeleton special rule is better suited for taking attacks that deal multiple damage. Small weapons will slowly whittle this monster down just like anything else. Lucky for it, the model is extremely dangerous and can take serious punishment. Throw it into the toughest fights and watch the Frostlord come out on top time and time again. While the Frostlord on Stonehorn is menacing on its own, there are quite a few other Warscrolls it synergizes with. If a Frostlord and Stonehorn decided to lead a Destruction Grand Alliance, the model would benefit mostly from personal damage boosts. Since command traits and artifacts only affect the rider, don't expect to enhance those powerful horn attacks through these additions. Under the Beastclaw Raiders allegiance, the model would see multiple benefits. The first part of the battle trait, Beastclaw Stampede, would offer the model reroll 1s to wound on the charge, while the Everwinter's Blessing would give the Frostlord and his army a randomly generated buff each turn. The blessings consist of mortal wounds, extra movement, and rerolling save rolls of 1. The extra movement is great, but getting Fortifying Hoarfrost to reroll 1s to save is extremely powerful on a Frostlord and Stonehorn, especially with Mystic Shield. Beastclaw Raider command traits offer a few options for the Stonehorn. A few offer some additional damage capabilities, one offers an extra wound, but the one that tends to stand out is the Everwinter's Master. The trait would allow the player to reroll the roll to determine the Everwinter's Blessing, helping ensure Fortifying Hoarfrost. In terms of magical artifacts, Beastclaw Raiders really only have one option for the Stonehorn. The Pelt of Charngar lets the player roll a die in each of their hero phases. On a 1 to 3, the Pelt restores 1 wound to the Stonehorn, but on a 4-up, it heals back D3 wounds. Coupled with the model's Stone Skeleton, the Pelt will make the model even more survivable. Also among the Beastclaw Raiders is the Huskguard and Thunder Tusk. A powerful Warscroll in its own right, the Huskguard can also heal the Frostlord on a roll of 4-up in the hero phase. Between the pelt and this ability, the Stonehorn will be getting back 4 wounds on average, but remember, each wound on a Stonehorn is effectively 2 wounds. If the Stonehorn is yet to take damage, the Huskard can use its other ability so it can reroll wound rolls of 1. Not only can the Huskard and Thunder Tusk heal the Stonehorn, but the Ogre Butcher can too. Admittedly, it is one result of 6, but could heal the monster back another D3 wounds. Another result could add 1 to hit rolls for the Frostlord, which is even more powerful. Not to mention the Ogre Butcher is a wizard, which means it can offer Mystic Shield. Beastclaw Raiders have access to quite a few battalions, and unsurprisingly, some of them include the Frostlord. A Svard Froston can barely squeeze into a 2,000 point army, but consists of a Frostlord, Huskard, and Beast Rider all on Stonehorns, at least 2 units of Mournfangs, and a Jorlbad battalion. The Jorlbad not only offers its own augments to its members, but the Froston increases all Stonehorn wounds by 1. The other battalion that includes the Frostlord and Stonehorn that fits into a 2,000 point army is Bragoth's Beasthammer. This is a personal favorite as it is powerful and it mixes factions, which I find quite interesting. The Beasthammer includes a Frostlord and Stonehorn, 2 Mournfang units, and 2 Gorgrunta units. The Frostlord in the battalion, Bragoth, receives an extra wound. The battalion also grants the Beastclaw units within 6 inches of the Gorgrunta +1 to hit. A lot of people knock Gorgruntas outside of the Gorefist, but this battalion effectively makes them a support unit. Place 1 unit behind the Frostlord and 1 unit with the Mournfangs, and pretend they are a support character with loads of wounds, and some damage output. This boost makes all the Stonehorn's attacks but the horns hit on 2s. That is brutal. Not only that, but once per game, the battalion can pile in and attack twice with any units that charge in that phase. Doubling the damage the Frostlord does is extremely destructive. A Frostlord and Stonehorn gains the most leading a Beastclaw Raiders faction, but will still be useful in a Destruction Great Alliance. Most Beastclaw Raiders players take this model as their general for obvious reasons, so it's a common sight to behold. When facing a Stonehorn, try to get it stuck in with large infantry units. Killing it is tough. It is often better to bog it down with small arms fire. Shoot as much as you can at it, remembering that any damaged 2 weapons are effectively useless against it. Keep your important models protected and make the Stonehorn keep hitting speed bumps. It's an expensive model, just lowering its kill count is useful. The Frostlord on Stonehorn receives a 5 out of 5. This unit is almost an auto-include for Beastclaw Raiders and provides an extremely durable leader model. What do you think of the Frostlord and Stonehorn? What Warscrolls would you like to see reviewed next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.